Storytellers, this is Josh Factor, and today I'm going to be ranking all 12 Spider-Man movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Let me know down in the comments below how you would rank them so we can have a nice, lovely discussion of our differences and takes, because we're all bound to have different perspectives on how we judge films in their own way. Make sure to subscribe so you join this film culture community if you're a film-loving fanatic and just love cinema and all things movies. And coming in at number 12, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. Well, this was one I once really enjoyed for its nature of fun-loving action. Overall, it just fell flat after the most recent rewatches, just having jokes that just don't land so well, or do not age well in their own means, and ultimately just having Mysterio being a great villain to the MCU, but Spider-Man not carrying his own weight of being a Spider-Man film, and ultimately just Iron Man passing down a glass to just a teenager that just has not handled the situation well. Feels like a big plot hole from the get-go and just does not land well as of recent rewatches. And coming in at number 11, we have Morbius. Well, this one is one I actually did enjoy a good bit. It has a good bit of fun. Just with the vampire type of action you get with Morbius, the difference of feeling you get with the feeling of the nature of these two kids and the scientist Morbius getting into this thing, and then you get those two sides of the one that's wanting to save the world with this, and one that's trying to just get revenge on the people that didn't treat him well. And just the nature of that is compelling enough, but unfortunately the characters aren't enough to be intriguing and inspire me to really care for their survival or what happens for them. So while the story was decent, the characters were a letdown. And coming in at number 10, we have Spider-Man 3. Now this one is a little complicated, as I do enjoy some of the nature of what you're going, and then also the Sandman creating this such a great villain arc that you're getting, where he's only trying to do the best for his family and wanting to be with his family, and you're getting a return of Green Goblin, and also the Venom arc. And with that, you're getting a bit too much. It's overcomplicated in some essences of how the pacing goes, and sort of complicates how my enjoyment of following how the story is going along just ends up going. And coming in at number 9, we have Venom. Well, this is a film that does have a few laughs here and there. The nature of this is a little bit held back by the PG-13 rating, just not having what it could be. And while they do have some substance of sustaining what they're going for, overall, a lot of the humor just falls flat, as they're just always cracking jokes and not always blending the humor so well. And coming in number 8, we have Venom Let There Be Carnage. So this is one that's slightly above the original, just for the darker direction Andy Serkis brings to the table, giving such a different direction. But overall, the compelling villain that is Carnage becomes less compelling, as Michael Keaton gives a role that is just not always delivering on the right notes in the right times, and ultimately becomes a waste as they kill him off already in this film thus far. And going in number 7, we have Spider-Man 2, a one that I did highly enjoy a little bit more upon rewatch, but ultimately never delivered to me on the level it does for everyone else, just with the idea that you're getting this psychology type of idea of all these action scenes, and this psychotraumatic trauma of Peter not believing in himself and losing his power is such a great arc, as well as the dark arc. But the pacing overall and the combination of all these different stories put together is just alright, and never has a highest high that I'd expect. And coming in at number 6, we have Spider-Man Into the SpiderVerse, another film that does have its highs, but never really peaks off of the higher note that I do enjoy the film for, but never to the extent where it's really captivating and inspiring and feels very sane all throughout to where it doesn't have a fluctuation of where I can differentiate what I really love about the film and what really stuck out to me. And coming in number 5, we have Spider-Man Homecoming, one that does have its highs, especially in just being the nature of being the first semi-solo Spider-Man film we get into MCU, creating this nature with Tom Holland just giving off a solid performance, and with the jokes that do deliver a little bit better on some fronts, and just the combination you get with that, and then Michael Keaton giving one of the best performances and best villain arcs as the main villain is just crazy. The twist you get, one of the best twists you get of all time from the MCU, and which is highly enjoyable, and it does have its low points, but its high points are pretty high as well. Then coming in number 4, we have SpiderMan No Way Home. Highly enjoyable just with the arc you get with Peter Parker coming to the end. Peter Parker finding a balance between him and Spider-Man. And then we also get some of the great fan service that doesn't necessarily feel like it's shoved in your face so well, because it's a good balance of bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to the big screen and just having such a blast, but also creating such a great story with all of those three characters combined together. And while the first hour is a little bit meandering at times as you're waiting for the last hour and a half, overall it's still high on its high notes and really delivers. And coming in number 3, we have The Amazing Spider-Man, one that's really great for its writing by Mark Webb, creating the chemistry between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, creating the origin story of Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man that's so compelling in its nature, and having the Lizard being also another great arc, just an underrated villain that you get so many great things in the nature and understanding of this villain that you're getting from this story becomes so much greater as we're getting so many great visuals and attention to detail that actually feel a lot more fleshed out than any MCU film, and don't really get outdated with the ideas that the Tobey Maguire films have. And coming in number 2, we have Spider-Man. And while I just mentioned that some of the things are a little bit outdated and the humor has its own feeling to it, this one does deliver on so many fronts that lands so well in the comedy and the excitement of the origin story with Tobey Maguire in this sense, and just so well and rich in the emotions we're getting with Uncle Ben being the best Uncle Ben, and just the arc that Tobey Maguire takes as Peter Parker is just so rich in just facing William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, just so strong in the nature of what every beat takes a toll for the stakes getting raised so high within it, giving me so many emotions from every character that we receive from this movie. But that leaves at number 1, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, another great sequel to the first that's highly enjoyable, again, for Mark Webb's great writing, what he brings to the table, the chemistry between every character, Gwen Stacy having an ultimate sacrifice at the end that's one of the saddest deaths in Marvel movies in general, and just developing this story that's so close to your heart, with Gwen Stacy even chasing after her dreams, but making that one choice to go back, and just the balance you get between Peter Parker and Spider-Man finding balance within his own life and knowing what he wants to do and how he's going to handle that, getting the balance of Electro and the Green Goblin as the villains of this story is so rich in what the substance is providing for me, and becomes even one of my favorite films of all time. That's just my ranking of all 12 Spider-Man films. Let me know down in the comments below how you would rank these films, and also make sure to subscribe to join this film culture community that we can just talk about and discuss film all throughout as we find our commonalities and differences. That is all. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.